It is Economic Development Week. It's been proclaimed by Mayor Clive Tully, and we are here on the Notorious Jawcast talking with a couple of businesses that made some headlines just a few weeks ago. The MJ Bex Awards took place, the Moose Jaw District Chamber of Commerce celebration of business excellence in Moose Jaw. And, there were so many great stories that night. We thought we should bring a couple of these stories forward for Economic Development Week. So having said all of that, we are very happy to have joining us on the Jawcast, Aaron Birch and Joe Barnett from Twin View Livestock. They won for agriculture and agribusiness. And also they won Business of the Year. Also, Sandra Wilders is the owner of Celtic Heart Day Spa, and they were nominated for Service Excellence at the MJ Bex Awards. And to round out our Ec Dev Week panel, we have Jim Dixon, the Manager of Economic Development for the City of Moose Jaw, and Rob Clark, the CEO of the Moose Jaw District Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Thanks everybody for taking some time to have this chat. And as mentioned, we were all of us were at the MJ Bex Awards. And it was the first MJ Bex Awards since 2019. And maybe Rob, I'll just start with you. It had been 3 years since the last MJ Bex Awards. What did it mean to the chamber to be able to put on the event again this year, and then have it be such a wild success?
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, and I don't think we could have scripted this year any better than the way it was. And I mean, people were waiting for 2 or 3 years. They were pent up energy, and they got out there and they enjoyed themselves that evening. We did just for record, as we did on 2020 and 2021, we actually did virtual, but nowhere to the extreme we did here. So it was, I'll tell you what, I'm still beaming and smiling about it and hearing nothing but good things, right from the MC down to the award winners here as well, from everybody in the community. So it was a big hit, I would say.
Yeah, well, you're right, and yes, and thank you for clarifying. You did do the awards virtually, and it was many strengths of the chamber through the pandemic. Finding ways to get things done, and that was a story throughout our business community for sure. But the first in-person event since 2019, 420 plus, I think, were in the Heritage Inn that night. And Jim Dixon, our manager of economic development. Again, for somebody whose job is to kind of keep their finger on the pulse of the city of Moose Jaw business and help where we can as a city, how inspiring was that night for you?
Well, you go away just feeling so proud of your community and the investment people continue, entrepreneurs, business folks put into the city. And so, I mean, you got to go away just thrilled. And of course, being my job, it's very thrilling for me to see a healthy business community, and it's growing. Businesses are expanding, and so that's a healthy sign for our community.
Yeah, for sure. And now our stars of the Jawcast, the two businesses we asked to be on. We'll start with the Twin View Livestock and Joe and Aaron. And of course, we got to meet everybody on one of the neat features of the MJ Bex. We did the live on the white carpet, Facebook Live, and I'm trying to interview all these people that Rob's wrangling everybody he can to come talk to me and get a few questions. And a delight for me was meeting people that I had not met before, and then hearing their stories a bit there, and then of course more so as the evening went on. So Joe and Aaron, I guess first give the elevator pitch of what Twin View Livestock is, and we'll just start there, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So what our main focus is we raise cattle, specifically purebred Gelbvieh cattle. But to expand on that, we sell seed stock. So that would be bulls or females or semen or embryos. And the main focus is making better genetics so that when we sell those to your more run-of-the-mill cattlemen, they can use our genetics to improve their bottom line. But in doing that, we also want to be as sustainable as we can. That's both environmental and how we treat our cattle, and also how we treat people and how we work in our community.
Right. And how long has Twin View been in operation?
We both grew up with cattle. It's both lifelong for both of us. But we created Twin View 6 years ago now. So it's relatively new. And agriculture is one of those, it's a little different than a lot of storefronts in that in our business, it takes years and years to build your name and to build that clientele. And so 6 years really is in its infancy, I guess we would say. We've got a long way to go, but we're working on it.
Well, you've done very well, obviously, in those 6 years. And Sandra, let's turn to you right now. Sandra Wilders from Celtic Heart Day Spa. I could have talked to you for like 10, 15 minutes on the white carpet, Sandra. You're gushing about the city of Moose Jaw because, of course, you moved here from Ireland over 10 years ago, right?
I did, yes. Myself and my husband and 4 kids moved here. My husband is a truck driver, so a friend of his had moved here previously. So when Ireland was in bad recession and we decided we wanted to make a change, my husband always wanted to emigrate to Canada, but we just never had the guts to do it. But then when things were getting bad at home for work, we decided we'd a chat with the kids, let's make a change, and do this. So there were 10, 12, 14 and 16 when we moved here. And we knew one couple in town and we Google mapped Moose Jaw. People think you're not doing that. We Google mapped everything and we were looking at you walking up and down the streets and everything, But a fantastic place to live because as a foreigner, you come and you know nobody. You don't know where anything is and you just know nobody. And I more found I couldn't work for a year or two with the visa we were on. But once I got working, you just got that sense of community. You met people within their jobs and came to me within my job. And they're just, Moose Jaw people are the best. Like I know it's changed to the notorious city, but Moose Jaw are very friendly people as well. They're very sweet. They will speak to you. They don't know you from anything. They'll break up into a conversation, in the grocery store at the checkout. Like they're very sweet and very dear to my heart. The pandemic even proved that because my business, like the lads there, is only 6 years in business as well. And so I do regard myself as a baby business in comparison to the other businesses in town. But you know what? Moose Jaw opened up its arms and called me up and bought gift certificates. I did skin consultations over the phone. People said, we have you, we look out for you, you'll be good. You know what I mean? And it was just amazing. The love you get from the people in this city is second to none. You wouldn't believe it, as a foreigner, you just wouldn't believe it. It's a fantastic city.
Well, we are notoriously friendly among other things, right? So
absolutely. But you're like the Irish. People used to say Canadians are a bit serious to me at home. Like they won't get your sarcasm but they do. I think no, they do. Absolutely. I think Canadians are sarcastic and like to have a bit of giggle about things as well. So it comes across brilliant, Just certain words they don't know what I'm saying, but they get used to me.
And Joe, for yourself, you grew up in Moose Jaw, graduated high school from Peacock, and I guess how fulfilling was it for you to be able to come back? I mean, your operations in Park Beg, but Moose Jaw really is still home. So how fulfilling was it to do that?
Yeah, and I guess I'll put 2 parts to that, Craig. The first part is Moose Jaw is the city itself, but there is such a huge service area that relies on Moose Jaw for so many things, and we're a prime example. We're sort of really pretty close to halfway between Moose Jaw and Swift Current, and we do 98% of our work in Moose Jaw because we have family that way. And so that was sort of the first draw, was we have a social circle that way, we have a family circle that way. And so we went to Moose Jaw, and now we know all the businesses that have everything that we need. We know where we get the services that we require. And Moose Jaw is really, even though we live 45 minutes away, we really feel like we're an extension of the city. And so, the service area around Moose Jaw is so critical from our perspective in terms of the local economy. And so, for us to be recognized at the MJ Bex Awards was such a privilege and an honor. But I think it was even a bigger picture than that, because it demonstrated how critical the broader community is to the local economy. And so I guess the second part of your question, yes, I am a born and raised Moose Javian. I grew up about 15 minutes out of town, on a farm with, been on a farm my entire life with my family. I moved away when I was 18. I actually went to university in the States and then came back. And that was sort of right in the time when everybody left Saskatchewan. And you had made that comment the other night, Craig, where it's nice to see people coming back to Saskatchewan instead of leaving it. And so it's interesting, you know, about 2000, it seems like there's sort of a start of a shift where there was as many people coming to Saskatchewan as there was leaving. And it's really awesome because it's like old home week every time we go to town. And Sandra, you were saying you go to the grocery store and you meet, you run into people you know, and Aaron says that every time we go to Moose Jaw. He says, I wonder which person we'll run into today, you know?
Yeah.
It's just the way Moose Jaw is. It's a big enough city. It has everything you need and all the services that you would ever require, but it's still small enough that you're going to run into somebody you know. And it's those personal pieces that really make a business successful. And that's one thing that we really rely on is those personal connections.
Yeah, well, and that's a great point. And further to that, you don't have to be from here to start to know people. I mean, Sandra, you're 10 years, but if you're just out and put a little effort into wanting to be involved, you can get involved really quickly in Moose Jaw and immerse yourself in a lot of things, and get to know a lot of people really, really soon. It's not a community where it's tough to make connections at all, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, even I did fundraising for my daughter, started figure skating, and I did fundraising for the club, and I pulled beer in Mosaic Place. And of course, you know, from Ireland, we know how to pull beer. So I was very popular. And they were like, bring her on our team. So it was like, you know, it was like a night out. It was fantastic. Honest to God, it was a great giggle, you know. But you do like, people are welcome to meet other people, you know. You think and it's very hard as well, because you do feel like we have no family here except myself, my husband, and the kids, you know. But even when, you know, times were bad and my husband was sick, like, people reached out, friends reached out. It's such a wonderful community. I think, like you say, I find a lot of clients, their kids have moved off out into bigger cities, and then when they want to settle down, they're coming back to Moose Jaw, because it's a very nice place to raise your family, have your kids. And as well as that, every time you think, oh well, we don't have this in Moose Jaw, then it's like, no, we do, it's over there. Do you know what I mean? Somebody has opened up that business, you know. But a really lovely town. I mean, I see tourists all the time come to me for services. You know, they come to town for a visit. What shocked me is how many tourists Moose Jaw gets. And it really does. People love it here, you know. I think people need to have a bit more pride in Moose Jaw. It's a beautiful place, and other people come here because it's beautiful. I find when I go back to Ireland, I only appreciate how beautiful Ireland is now I don't live there. When you live somewhere, you don't appreciate what's around you.
Great
I just
point.
say to people, yeah, go to Crescent Park, have your lunch, sit in that park. It's beautiful. Look at the flowers and everything, and the pool and all. It's such a lovely spot to have in the middle of a city. We're very blessed. We really are.
That's awesome. I just want to clarify too. I know you mentioned pull beer. That does have a different meaning in Canada here. Pulling beer means buying beer for underage kids. Where you're in Ireland, pull beer is, you're just saying pouring. You were pouring beer.
Yeah.
You weren't pulling beer. We just want to make that clear for everybody as well. I think we all knew, but just to be 100% clear, lest anybody think less of you, Sandra.
I got into trouble before about saying I love a pot plant on the deck. What I meant was a potted plant with flowers, not
Oh, geez.
my business partner's from Canada, so she's like the translator at times. She's like, no, she's never been high in her life. She means a potted plant.
We'll take your word for that.
I know.
I'm going to defer right now to Rob right now, and I know Rob had mentioned he might have a question or two for our guest. So Rob, you're up.
Well, the only thing I wanted to talk to you about it is the question. And so we've been doing the MJ Bex Awards for 20 years, and we had the 22 virtually. But other than that, what was your sense there? I mean, Everybody was pretty excited, pretty helpful at the awards, and a lot of really great stories were being said. And following and watching the videos. So what was your impression of the whole evening? Is it? I mean, you guys, the first time you were there, first time at the MJ Beck's, first time going through the process, and just I guess a little bit of information or uptake from both you award winners. And you need to come out of your shell, Sandra.
Yeah.
From somebody that came from a community that didn't have anything like this, and also not really being exposed to an event like this in Moose Jaw, I was kind of blown away. Both the production value and just how thoroughly entertaining the evening was. It was very well done, and it was, like we said afterwards, we really enjoyed the evening. Even if we would have went there and didn't win anything, we would have really enjoyed the evening. We got to visit with a few new people that we hadn't met before. We got to be introduced to some businesses that we didn't even know existed in the city. And just the whole atmosphere from the night was really, really amazing for, not knowing that it even existed before we were nominated, to be honest. So we were really, really impressed with the entire evening.
Yeah, I was the same. Do you know what? I had never been nominated. I thought it was amazing, and it was amazing to even see the family involved in the business. And like, there's both of you guys, and you live on your business. I was fascinated to find out what you did. You're like, who knew all this? I'm such a city girl. It's like, who knew all this was going on with the cows and all the rest of it? Do you know what I mean? It was brilliant. And to see you, like, you're ordinary people, but you put your heart and soul into your business and work it every day. And I felt like from a business owner point of view, it was like a pat on the back from the city to say, well done, we see you and we appreciate what you do. And especially, coming after COVID, we've all had the stuffing knocked out of us because we didn't know, will we open our doors, will we not, what will we do? I know you guys are busy because the moo cows will be running around doing their thing anyhow, do you know yourself? But for for what I do, it's like, oh my God. And it was like a celebration of the 6 years being in business. And I just loved it. Like, I really did. You know what I mean? So please God, we'll win next time. I tell you, the Fighting Irish will be back.
Jim, did you have anything you wanted to ask?
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of comments. As we celebrate Economic Development Week, and Monday was actually Indigenous Economic Development Day, and we're, bringing to light how important economic development is for the community. And you can see what a healthy business community means to a community. An important strategy too, important, and Aaron and Joe have alluded to it, as you operate in the region, is a regional approach to economic development, which you're embracing, we embrace. And so that's really critical. But also and all of you have really talked about the quality of life aspect, and what a great community Moose Jaw is to live. And so as an economic development practitioner, the quality of life is something we're really promoting now, and it's an important piece. And so you're a testimony, all of you, to why that's important. So yeah, I guess the question, and I guess part of it has been answered. And why do you enjoy doing business in Moose Jaw or within the Moose Jaw region?
I guess I can start with that one. And one of the simple answer is, when you are a business owner, and we were alluding to this before we started recording, Sandra, you had mentioned it too, where when you own your own business, it is all encompassing. All aspects of your life become tied to that business. And so it's very, very rare for us, and probably you as well, Sandra, to just not be doing something for your business, but just go and have fun and to do something. And so when we come to Moose Jaw, we always have a list of things that we need to do that day. And one of the reasons that Moose Jaw has been so great for us is that even on those days when we come to the city and we have a laundry list of things to accomplish in the city that day, we can still find those little spots and those few minutes in the city where it feels like we're taking a break. And whether that's a lunch out at, at the restaurants, the phenomenal restaurants we're so fortunate to have, or, like Sandra, you'd mentioned Crescent Park, or, so many little stops, and it might only be a couple minutes. And that's, that quality of life piece that you mentioned it's really easy for us to take those opportunities in Moose Jaw on a really busy day to find a moment of peace and quiet and just to lighten the day a little bit. And that for us has been a big thing. And it's something we make a point of when we come to Moose Jaw, is rather than just sticking to the list, we try to find something that gets us off that list a little bit and to enjoy the city, because there is so much to enjoy. And as a business owner, when you're in the trenches day in and day out of that business, it can be really tough to take those opportunities. But it's a point that we try to make, is to enjoy the opportunities that do exist in Moose Jaw, and there are many.
Yeah.
Sandra?
Yeah, absolutely. I find the people of Moose Jaw are wonderful. It's a wonderful community. There's lots to do. And you know what? We support each other constantly. I send people to other businesses, people from out of town looking for different things. I'm like, oh, you can get it up there, or you can go to this restaurant and that restaurant, because that's it. We're all supporting each other. Do you know what I mean? And to share it around like that and think of each other, because I love that when people come here and they're shocked hearing the Irish one telling them about this, that, and Moose Jaw. But I like to recommend restaurants and places to go and sit and do things, because there is a lot to do, and our bars and restaurants are just amazing. They cater for everybody, and even our stores. I have friends of mine that own stores here on Main Street, and even though I sell purses and jewelry, they do also. So if I haven't got something the client wants, I will send them up the way to my friend's store, just to pass it around. And they do exactly the same for me. They send people to me, so it just warms your heart, honest to God. The people are fantastic here, and they care about you. They care about your business. You're prospering, and please God, I'm hoping to employ some staff now in the near future and expand slightly. And your clients care about you doing that. They really do. And vice versa. I get involved in their lives and see their children graduate and have their first babies and get married and that. So it's wonderful. It really is wonderful.
Well, this whole chat has been wonderful. We could go on for a long time, I'm sure, but we should close. Any final thoughts from anybody, starting with Rob?
No, again, I just think it's been absolutely awesome to listen to the stories here, and and even supporting one another in business downtown. That actually, you don't hear about that enough, but I know it's happening. So really good comments from Aaron and Joe and Sandra. It's pretty amazing to meet you people, and award winners, of course, and it's really good for our community to have a format like this, to be able to, on the podcast, to send it out. So, and congratulations, happy ECDEV week.
Thanks, Rob. Jim?
Well, celebrating success is another very important thing. We did that at the MJ Bex Awards. Moose Jaw is very fortunate to have a Chamber of Commerce that is led by Rob and Heather, that show great leadership and engage in the business community. And that makes our job a whole lot easier. And so when we have events like that, it's so meaningful, as we've all been talking about. So yeah, success in everyone's business.
Aaron and Joe, any final parting shots?
I don't know, Rob, you could probably answer this question for me, but I would like to say thank you to whomever was behind all of this, in terms of recognizing an agricultural business as Business of the Year. We often forget, and it's that same regional approach to economics, where Moose Jaw is an agricultural economy. If it weren't for the rural agricultural businesses and the local areas, the city would look very, very different. And so it was such an honor for us as an agricultural business to be considered in that larger category of Business of the Year. Truly, truly a privilege. And Aaron had mentioned it before, but I don't know that it has really sunk into us yet. I think we actually diagnosed ourselves with imposter syndrome because we're not really a business. We don't really have any business being here. But it was truly an honor and a privilege for us. And we thank everyone involved from the chamber to the city itself and anyone connected with us. You have our sincere gratitude.
And Sandra, you get the last word.
Well, the last word, yes, I just want to thank everybody involved. It was amazing. And in honesty, we joined Chamber because we love Rob. And every time I see him, he comes down to the businesses and he does videos. And I just love that he's in the heart and soul of the community and in people's businesses and talking about you and plugging you. And I think what better? Like the minute I saw his videos, I thought, yep, he's the man for me. This is what we're doing. Snap him and keep him here one of these days. He's a fantastic man.
I need you to pull a beer for me now. Then.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for. I tell you.
Sandra Wilders from Celtic Heart Day Spa, and Aaron Birch, Joe Barnett, Twin View Livestock, Rob Clark from the Chamber, Jim Dixon from the city of Moose Jaw. Thank you all for celebrating Economic Development Week with us here on the Notorious Jawcast. Have a great rest of your week.
You too.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Cheers all.
Yeah. All the best.